Jamie just shoved like 8 pieces of popcorn in her mouth.
It was only 3.
Like, why can't you just eat one at a time? Why'd you have to shove it in like that?
Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
Board games.
And
board gamey things.
Exactly. We are here today with another episode of Board Game Snapshots. Ba-cha! This is a series where we do 5 mini board game reviews. We are going to be talking about some board games today. Now, all 5 of the games that we are talking about today were sent to us for review. Just in case we forget to say it, every single one of them were sent to us.
All of them.
All of them.
All 5.
There are 5, and all 5 were sent to us. Jeffrey, why don't we get started with a little game called Diatoms. Now, this video is partially sponsored by Diatoms, so what we are going to be doing for Diatoms is giving a little overview or preview of the game rather than a review of the game. This game, I do want to say, is currently live on Kickstarter, so if you're interested in what Jeff is about to tell you, because I'm going to let him do the overview, we'll have the link below, so you can check it out.
In Diatoms, it is a abstract-y, puzzly type game where you are basically trying to create these collections of microbes.
Algae, it's
algae.
Like microscopic algae.
Yep, and these end up having certain patterns and colors and collections, and ultimately what you're trying to do is puzzle these pieces together. Each person has their own specific player board, and when you add to the communal puzzle, you're going to take a cardboard magnifying glass and kind of put it on the board in order to take certain diatoms to score on your board. And all these diatoms have like different shapes. Like there's a star-shaped one, there's a cylinder-esque type shape, etc., etc., etc. And you're going to be building out this kind of like mosaic in front of you.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of different scoring conditions based off of like the diatom shapes that you collect, the colors, and how you place them on your board. For example, like one way to score might be if you have 2 matching diatoms on the outer ring, because the player board in front of you is based off of symmetry, both in lines as well as concentric rings. And so you might score extra points if you put 2 red cylinder diatoms on the outer ring, etc., etc. It's very abstract, it's very puzzly, and honestly a very unique theme that I've not really seen anywhere else.
No, yeah, and apparently it's based off of like a Victorian art form that actually existed. Yeah. So yeah, it's very like sciencey based, but it is like purely an abstract strategy game that has like a bunch of bright colors and different designs, and every game is going to be different because everything is going to depend on the type of diatoms that you place out and things that are going to get triggered in the game. And I believe there's like different modes of play as well. And so there's a lot of variety with that.
Yeah, it's if you like those like kind of abstracty puzzly type games, there's not a ton of like interaction or getting in each other's way. No. So much as you're just trying to optimize your own puzzle.
So if that's something that sounds like it might be interesting to you, go and check out the Kickstarter page. Once again, the Kickstarter is live now. All the links and information will be down below. But if you're interested in science,
it's very sciencey.
If you are interested in science, microscopes, magnifying glasses, bright colors, algae, Victorian art.
There's a wide spectrum of things there.
What are you waiting for? Okay, so the next one that I am going to talk about, because Jeff hasn't played it because it is a solo-only game, is called Forage, and this is from Side Room Games. It is a 9-card solitaire game, and I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, that looks like Orchard. Well, guess what? You freaking nailed it. Same designer and everything. So essentially in this game, it actually comes with 18 cards, but you're only going to play with 9 at a time. And what you're doing is you are building out a pattern in front of you by placing cards on top of each other. It's probably easier if I just show you some of those cards. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to place cards on top of matching symbols. If they have a matching fruit, as an example, well then you get to put a little token or a dice, I should say. You get to put a little dice on that. And as you continue to build up the layers, you're going to be ticking up the dice numbers, trying to score more and more points. Now, what is different about this one, because Orchard is very, very similar, this has rats. And if you cover up something...
Rats bad?
Rats are bad, yeah. So let's say I covered up like a mushroom with a berry. That's bad. So I got to put a rat on that, right? You want to get things matching and similar. So that's something that's new. And there's also like a big rat token that you can replace with the little rat dice, which are -2 points each.
Did you name the big rat token Splinter?
I did.
Did you get it?
Yeah, because of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, obviously. So that is the game. You are building it up. Now you can play a more advanced mode where you have these different objectives and you pick a couple and you combine their scores. So if I were to use these two, I'd be trying to get 54 points in order to win.
I was wondering if you'd get your math right there.
And I did it pretty quickly. So basically, it plays really quickly. It is very easy to play. I consider it impossible to win, or at least I feel that way, because I cannot do it.
You've not. Oh, I remember you saying you were close.
Yep.
Score wise.
The same with Orchard. I think like there's obviously randomness with it because it depends on the cards that come up and everything. But there is a strategy here that I just can't for the life of me figure it out. But it is one of those games that keeps making you want to come back and try again.
Yep.
Excellent travel game. And it's really cool because when you set it up, like I said, you only used 9 of the 18 cards. You set the other 9 cards aside so that you can immediately play again. So it's like you're setting up for 2 games.
Because they're like, we know you're going to fail.
Yeah.
So you should just set up another game.
Exactly. And each of the 18 cards has an objective if you want to play in the more advanced version. So that is Forage. I'm going to put any of the following information that you need for Forage down below in the description as well. But keep your eyes peeled for this one. And check out Orchard if you haven't yet, because it is a slightly easier version of this. Yeah.
So you haven't won the base version, and there's an advanced version.
No. And there's another one too. Final installment of the Harvesting Trilogy. What's the other one? Grove. I haven't played Grove, so I can't do that. Are you saying that I'm bad at this game?
Yeah.
Because I am very bad at this game. You're up, Pop.
Me? Next up, we have from Devir Games, The White Castle. The newest Devir game. You should see this bad boy popping up around you soon. In the White Castle, you are playing as Japanese clans, and you are trying to get a seat at the Daimyo Sakai Tatazumi. Trying to get a seat to basically just get prestige points. I think that's kind of the basic premise there. So there are warriors, farmers, and courtiers. And each of those character types do different things. There's different areas of the board that they go to.
Score
and
points accordingly.
It's a really combo-rific type of game.
Yeah.
If you've played other Devir games like maybe Bamboo, somewhat similar in terms of mechanisms where you're just doing a bunch of combos in order to optimize every single turn that you have.
Yeah.
So you are going to be basically drafting dice off of a shared board and placing those dice into different slots on this board in order to do different actions. And those actions might be to recruit a warrior, farmer, or courtier. It might be to collect resources. It might be to grab cards with the end goal of just building up your combo engine so that later on when you take an action, you're going to be triggering a bunch of effects in order to do a bunch of different things and score a bunch of different points.
Yeah, so essentially like there's so much variety in this game because when you set it up, you are setting up the board with different dice types that can go in certain slots that are going to be the actions that you take when you draft the dice. And there's orange, white, and black dice. And it's a really cool function because each of the color die are on these bridges and you can only take from either end. So, and then you have to either gain or pay money in order to play out one of those die based on the difference between the die numbers.
Yeah.
So there's so much strategy that comes in here because you're like, well, I'm going to take this one. And then you look at the middle one that's now shifted to the edge. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm giving Jeff access to this really good one, but I really need an orange die. So there's all of these different things. So many different ways to score points. So I think this is one of those games where you're probably going to need to like pick one, maybe two lanes that you're trying to go instead of trying to do everything. It actually surprisingly played way quicker than I thought it would. Quick. It's really snappy at two players for sure. So we've only played it at 2 players. But in my opinion, Devir can't miss.
Yeah, they are...
this game's amazing.
They are a firecracker of a publisher right now. Yeah, I really like the economy in the game because like things are pretty tight.
Yep. Because you have to gain resources.
Because like Jamie mentioned, like if you have a 6-pip die and you know each location requires a specific number die, so if you need to go to a area that's like a 3-pip and you only have 6s, you're going to end up paying $3 to go there, and like there's not a lot of resources going around. I feel like there's a ton of replayability in this game.
It's excellent. I honestly think that Devir, I've loved every single one of their games that we've played so far. I am a huge fan. It does have a solo mode, so I'm excited to try that.
It's beautiful production. It's a ton of substance in a smallerish box.
That's what I love.
Which they've been doing a lot of. Very much enjoyed it.
Okay, next up we have Leaf from Weird City Games. Once again, as with the rest of them, was sent to us for review, so thank you to Weird City Games. Now, in this game, you are building out a floor of leaves. Right? It's crazy. So basically, you have cards in your hand.
You're the wind.
You're the wind. You know how it is being wind. So you have cards in your hand that correspond to different types of leaves. Basically, it'll be like a maple.
The only leaf type I knew was maple until this game.
There was a bunch of different ones.
I don't remember what any of them were called, but I was like, oh, these all have names.
Yeah, so you're playing out a leaf card, and then you're going to be placing one of those corresponding shapes onto the pile of leaves that are in front of you. And what you're trying to do is get the tips of the leaves to touch as many other tips of the other leaves as you can. And then you're going to take corresponding action. So each color of leaf has a different type of action that you can take. As an example, a green leaf allows you to draw a new leaf card, which you need leaf cards in order to play leaves. There might be one that allows you to move your little squirrel figure up a tree and gain different resources, or maybe there's a mushroom one that's letting you sprout mushrooms that is going to be another scoring objective at the end of the game.
Kind of an area control-ish thing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a bunch of different things that you need to consider. It's very, very puzzling, and you're building this like pile of leaves out together, but you're playing against each other. We've only played this at 2 players, but it does have a solo mode as well. I'd be really interested to see what this is like at more players. Because there's so many different things. Like I said, there's area control, there's resource gathering, there's set collection, because you're also gathering different animals and you're trying to collect sets of animals and making them hibernate in order to score points. So you're playing this over a series of rounds until the end of the game is triggered by either some of the 3-leaf piles being empty, or you go through all of the seasons of the game, and then whoever has the most points wins. It is, I would say, easy to learn, hard to master. I'd put that in this category for sure. I really liked it though.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that like when Jamie mentions like how endgame is triggered, then there's like a season track. That season track isn't like, okay, Jamie's taking a turn, I'm taking a turn, we move the season track up.
You have to pay.
Like, you have to pay. There's like an economy involved with moving the season tracker
Sunshine.
up. And I thought that was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Because like you can kind of perhaps push for endgame if you think you have a really good engine going. You can kind of push that along, or you can slow things down and focus on other parts. I really like the shared board, wherein it doesn't have like a ton of meanness to it, but there's definitely like, I need to be careful if I put this leaf here, like this maple leaf here.
Because I'm opening up,
I'm opening up for Jamie to maybe put a leaf here to get 3 tips touched, and then being able to take a bunch of actions on her turn.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and that's the thing, because you need to be able to have the right cards to play the right leaves that can give you as many actions as possible, but each leaf that you put out has to touch at least 2 points on another leaf.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's times where you're like, oh, I really need brown right now, I really need green. So you're trying to, like, make it work, and then you're opening it up. And I liked it. I knew nothing about this game before we played it, and I really enjoyed it. I think you could play this with so many different people. It's ages 10 and up, but it gave me enough crunch.
It was very beautiful, too.
Yeah,
like, to have all of those leaves out, it looked really cool on the table. Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend checking this out if it sounds like something that you might be interested in. This could be a good one to stream at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
So we might do that soon. Last but not least, we have Forever Home from Birdwood Games, which is currently available. So this one is straight to retail, no Kickstarter, anything like that. And the theme of this game, first of all, it's an abstract strategy game, but the theme does matter.
Yeah, it does.
To me, anyways.
Yeah.
So in this game, what you were trying to do is you were trying to find homes for shelter dogs. And maybe you're sending them to the city, maybe the suburbs, the countryside, or maybe just a foster home. And you're doing that by building out different patterns on your board of specific types of dogs in order to perform tricks. And so the game is very simple. On your turn, you can do 2 actions and you have 3 choices. You can take a dog. It's a little like square cardboard thing, and you place it on your board. That's one.
It's like a 5x5 grid or something.
It's just a grid. You can take a trick card, which is how you are going to move your dogs into their homes.
They're forever homes.
They're forever homes, and also how you're going to score points.
Correct.
Or you can move a dog on your grid 1 space. So what's really interesting about it is when you complete a trick, it'll tell you how many dogs you move from your board into the home. So you don't get to move all of them. And the reason why that's important is because you need to, like, think ahead. Because if you have 2 pink dogs and you have a card in your hand that you could use that for, well, then you're not going to want to get rid of the pink dogs because you can use it for a different card, and they're going to be taking up space on the board. So it's super puzzly. It only plays until someone reaches 7 tricks, so it's relatively quick game. You can definitely make it last longer, though, because you don't have to play the tricks out.
Correct.
But I thought it was really cute. Now, there is an advanced mode. We only played with the basic mode because, as you know, we basic. And there is a solo mode, which I haven't played. But I really enjoyed it. What did you think?
When you send dogs to their forever homes, that's basically how you score at the end of the game. So there's a bunch of end game objective cards that are shared information, and those cards will explain how you score at the end of the game. For example, the city might score for each different type of dog that you send to that place. The country is set, so if you send 2 dogs to the country, you're going to score 3 points. And if you send 2 different sets, you'll score 6 points, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think foster home scores for every single dog, you get 1 point that's in the foster home.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the point of, like, sending these dogs to the forever homes, also to get some love-ins.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's really cool. It's got kind of like, I don't want to say like Calico vibes, but it does have like kind of like this grid Calico-y type puzzle to it, where you're like trying to get like maybe 3 of the same type of dog in a diagonal line.
Yeah, there's a ton of variety in this game. All of the scoring cards that Jeff was talking about, with the exception of the foster dog, there's like 3 or 4 different ones that you can use. And there's also one other scoring thing. There's like, it's called commendations, not accommodations, commendations. So there's another way to score points at the end of the game by having, like, if you have the most huskies, then you get more points. And it's just whoever scores the most points by the end of the game wins. You could play it with varying different degrees of difficulty. I liked it. So if you enjoy abstract strategy games, if you like the theme, if you want something that is puzzly, but at least in the basic version, I would say it's not overly AP-inducing.
It's pretty light. Yeah.
It's this, Jeff, what is this? It's a cottage game. This is a cottage game. Do you think?
Sure.
I think. You take your dog to the cottage. So,
yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. If you're interested in Forever Home, links will be down below to the Birdwood Games site. So you can go and check it out there.
I love the theme.
Same. It's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. So those are 5 more games that we have been playing recently and what we think about them. Would love to know down below your thoughts on these games. Have you tried them? Are you interested in trying them? We would love to know. Did you get it?
Don't think so.
But that is everything that we have for today. Now, if you're interested in buying board games, like many of the games we talked about today, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that is...
The Boardroom Game Cafe.
Yeah, do you like snacks?
I do.
I love snacks. Where do people get snacks?
Munch Pack.
Exactly. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see,
please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye.
I hate that fly.
I know. So, oh, now it's up way too high, though. I just need a second to have a snack. Why?
Just like machine gun fired 5 popcorn in your mouth.
Delicious. But I liked it. If there's a fly in here.
I know.
And like you can't get them either. He's probably after my popcorn, probably.
Probably after my popcorn, probably.
Well, definitely.
My brain was like, nope.
It was like it was skipping.
Yep. That's what it felt like.